There's something most people avoid saying out loud, even when it's staring them in the mirror. Not because it's inappropriate, not because it's unknown, but because it's uncomfortable. Because saying it out loud makes it real. We're all going to die. Not someday, not later, but eventually. And for some of us, sooner than we imagined. No one tells you how strange it feels to be closer to the end than the beginning, to walk through a grocery store, pass by children, couples, and young workers and think, they don't know yet. But I do. You feel it when a doctor pauses after reading your scans. You feel it when you look in the mirror and see your mother or father's face staring back. You feel it when the calls get less frequent, when the chairs at holiday dinners grow fewer. And yet in all this, few talk about what it really means, what it truly feels like, to know time is no longer infinite. So many of us whisper these thoughts to ourselves at night but never say them aloud. We don't want to scare our children. We don't want to sound morbid, so we suffer in silence, smiling politely while slowly carrying a weight no one can see. But today we lift the silence, because you deserve the truth, not in fear, but in freedom, because the truth about dying isn't dark. When faced honestly, it's the most illuminating light you'll ever walk toward. Number 1. The quiet fears that no one talks about, but every elderly person feels. There's something that happens to you when you reach your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Even if you're healthy, even if you're surrounded by family, a slow, quiet awareness begins to bloom. It usually starts small, like noticing how long it takes you to get out of bed in the morning, or how many more pills are in your drawer than just a few years ago, or how you sometimes can't remember why you walked into a room. At first you shrug it off, you laugh about senior moments, or joke that getting old isn't for sissies. But then, something shifts. You begin to wonder, what will happen when I'm not here? Will my children be okay? Will they miss me? Or just miss the convenience I provided? Will they go through my drawers and toss out my journals without reading a single word? It's not death itself that rattles the soul. It's the fear of disappearing before you're actually gone. It's the fear of losing control over how we go, of suffering alone and of not being ready. And most of all, it's the fear of leaving life with unfinished stories. A man once told me, "I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of being in a bed, tubes in my arms, and no one by my side." And another said, "I fear my memories dying with me, that my grandchildren will never know who I truly was." These fears are not selfish, they're sacred. They come from the part of your soul that still wants to protect, love, and matter. So if you feel them, please hear this. You are not weak, you are not overthinking, you are being deeply human. And acknowledging your fears is not a sign of giving up. It's a sign of courage. Number 2, the regret that haunts more than illness, and how to avoid it while you can. Ask anyone who's worked in hospice. Ask the nurses who sit beside patients in their final days. They'll all tell you the same truth. When death comes close, it's not pain that people talk about. It's regret. Not the regret of failing to make a fortune, not the regret of not owning a bigger house or living longer, but the soul-wrenching ache of missed moments, of people they didn't forgive, of words they should have said but didn't. A man named Gerald, 82, once told me while holding an oxygen mask, "I spent my whole life waiting for the perfect moment to call my brother. Then he died, and now I talk to a picture." His voice cracked, not because of his illness, but because of what he carried inside. And here's what many people don't tell you. Dying doesn't hurt as much as knowing you're dying with unfinished love. One woman wept softly in her last hours because she had never told her daughter that she forgave her for leaving home at 18. Now that daughter would never know, and that mother would pass with a heart still holding something meant to be released. Please don't wait. Don't assume you'll have time to fix it later. Later is the most dangerous word we say as we get older, because time doesn't knock, it slips away. If there's someone you need to call them today. If there's someone you love, say it. Not tomorrow, not when you're feeling better. Now you don't need to write a perfect letter. You don't need a grand apology. Sometimes even a simple, "I was thinking of you today," can rebuild a bridge. Regret is heavy, but love, spoken, expressed, and offered, is a medicine that works even in the final hour. Number 3, the loneliness of not being understood and the cost of pretending you're fine. Let me ask you something. How many times in the last month have you answered the question, "How are you?" with the word "fine"? even when you weren't? If you're like most older adults, the answer is probably too many, because somewhere along the way we were taught to protect others from our pain. We were told to be strong for our kids, to not be dramatic, to smile and keep going, even when everything in our body begged for rest, for compassion, for understanding. But do you know what that silence does? It builds a wall between you and your loved ones, a wall between your soul and the healing it needs, a wall made not of stone but of fear, fear that they won't listen, fear that they won't understand, fear that you'll become that parent or that grandparent who always complains. But here's the truth. Your voice still matters. Your emotions still count. And saying I'm not okay doesn't make you a burden. It makes you real. I once visited a woman named Helen, 79. She had been in assisted care for almost a year. She rarely spoke to her children about how she truly felt. One afternoon, she told me quietly, "I don't want them to feel guilty. That's why I pretend I'm okay. But at night, I cry for hours." Can you imagine carrying that alone? No one should have to. So please, speak your truth. Write it in a letter if the words are hard. Share it with a friend if your family can't hear it. But don't die with your story inside you, because even if you think no one wants to hear it, someone does. And more importantly, you deserve to be heard before you go. Number 4. Letting go of control. Facing the loss of independence with dignity and grace. One of the hardest parts of aging isn't the grey hair or the slower step. It's the quiet, gradual loss of control. Control over your body, your decisions, your routines, even your own home. It starts subtly. Maybe you stopped driving at night. Then altogether, maybe your kids began managing your medications or paying your bills. They mean well, but every little gesture reminds you that your independence is fading, and that, right there, is a loss most people never acknowledge. The grief of losing autonomy. You spent your whole life being the one who made things happen. You raised families, managed crises, survived heartbreaks, and now it's hard to even open a jar. It's easy to feel embarrassed, even angry. Easy to feel like you're slipping from adult to dependent in front of everyone you love. But please hear this with your heart. Losing some control does not mean losing your worth. Needing help does not mean you've failed. It simply means your season is changing. And with that comes a new kind of strength. I once sat beside a man named Wallace, 85, who had just moved into assisted living. He said, "I used to mow 3 lawns in a day. Now someone helps me button my shirt." I asked him, "How does that make you feel?" He looked away and whispered, "Less like me." We talked for a long time. Eventually, he said something that stayed with me. "I'm realizing I'm not less of me. I'm just a newer version. One that's learning to receive, not just give. That's the key, isn't it? We are taught all our lives to give, our energy, our time, our love. But aging asks something harder, to accept help with grace, to allow others the privilege of serving us just as we once served them. Letting go of control isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's trusting that even if we aren't driving the car anymore, the journey is still ours. You still have choices, you still have value. You still get to decide how you want to be remembered, not by what you did, but by how you made people feel. Number 5, the emotional legacy we leave behind, more valuable than money or possessions. When people think of leaving something behind, they often think of wills, bank accounts, or property. But those aren't the things your loved ones will hold closest when you're gone. They won't reach for your checkbook. They'll reach for your voice in a video, your handwriting in a letter, the scent of your old scarf, your emotional legacy. The love, lessons, and memories you pass down will outlast everything else. So let me ask you this gently, friend. What are you leaving behind that can't be measured in dollars? Are you telling your children the stories that shaped you? Are you writing down the recipes only you know? Are you sharing the mistakes you made and what they taught you? Are you reminding your grandchildren that you once danced, cried, fell in love, made terrible decisions and survived? Too often we think, they're too busy to listen. But they won't be too busy when you're gone. They'll wish they had asked. They'll wish they had recorded your voice. They'll wish they had one more evening just sitting beside you. Don't wait for them to ask. Give it now, freely, openly. Tell them what you believe about life, what love meant to you, what you'd do differently if given the chance. Tell them what your own parents never told you, This is how we continue living, through stories, through wisdom, through words passed down like sacred gifts. A woman named Naomi once said to me, "I don't care if they remember my birthday. I want them to remember that I sang to them when they were scared, that I forgave them when they failed, that I saw beauty in them before they saw it in themselves." That is legacy, and that's the kind that makes death a doorway, not an ending. Number 6. The moments that matter in the end, and how to create them now. You know what almost every dying person wishes they had more of? Not more years, not more money, more moments, moments when their grandchild climbed into their lap and fell asleep. Moments of sitting on a porch as the sun went down, moments of belly laughter over a burnt pie or a family game, moments when they weren't trying to fix anything. They were just there. But we miss so many of these moments because we think they're too ordinary. We think we need a big event, a holiday, a trip. No, the sacred is hiding in the simple. And guess what? The end of life is not too late to create new memories. You can still make someone feel loved. You can still take a walk and feel the breeze. You can still kiss your spouse's cheek and whisper something you've never said out loud. You can still teach your grandson how to play the game you loved growing up. You can still tell your best friend that they changed your life just by being in it. One of the most powerful truths I've ever heard came from a nurse named Ellie who worked in palliative care. She said, "In the last days, people don't want one more day. They want one more moment that feels like love. And those moments are created by you right now. Today, don't wait for perfect circumstances. Don't wait until your energy is higher or your house is cleaner or your pain is gone. Let the moment be as it is. Let it be real, because one day someone will look back and say, 'That hour I sat beside her and listened to her talk about her wedding dress. That was the moment I'll never forget.' That is what lives on after we're gone. Not the neatness, not the productivity, but the presence. Number 7, finding peace before the curtain falls, making amends, letting go, and saying goodbye. If there's one thing that keeps people awake in the last chapter of life, it's not fear. It's unfinished business. Unspoken apologies, old resentments still burning, words they wish they could take back or say for the first time, not because they want to fix everything, but because they want to leave in peace. Peace is a sacred gift, but it doesn't just arrive, it's something we make. You may be surprised to know this, but many seniors find their final peace not in medication or prayer, but in reconciliation. A quiet call to a son they haven't spoken to in years, a letter written to an estranged sister, long after both believed it was too late, even a silent prayer of forgiveness for someone who never asked for it. There's power in releasing what no longer needs to be carried. I once sat with a man named David, age 76, who hadn't seen his brother in over 2 decades. They had fought bitterly over an inheritance. As David neared the end of his life, he finally said, maybe the money wasn't worth the silence. He didn't expect a miracle, he just wanted to free his heart. So he picked up the phone. And do you know what happened? His brother cried. They didn't resolve everything, but they both breathed easier. Sometimes peace isn't about fixing the whole story. It's about finally closing the page with love, not anger. And that includes forgiving yourself for the mistakes you made as a parent, for the things you didn't say or do, for the years you spent being hard on yourself. No one leaves this world perfectly finished, but you can leave honest, whole, unburdened. Say what needs to be said. Write what needs to be written. Let go of what's hurting you, even if no one else understands it. Peace is your birthright. Don't let it be the one thing you leave behind. And when it comes to saying goodbye, know this, it doesn't have to be final. Goodbye can be a gift, not a defeat. You can look your loved one in the eyes and say, I'm proud of you. I'll always be with you. You were the best part of my life. These words will echo long after you're gone. They'll carry in hearts, in birthdays, in family dinners. You may be leaving this earth, but your voice, your love, your goodbye can last forever. Number 8. Dying isn't the end. It's the beginning of a different kind of presence. Here is the truth we almost never say aloud, but we all feel it deep down. Death isn't the end of you. Your heartbeat may stop, your breath may slow, but what you've given to the world, the love, the lessons, the laughter, the grace, doesn't vanish, it multiplies. Think about the people you've loved and lost, maybe your mother, a spouse, a friend. They're not gone, are they? You still hear them sometimes when you're cooking the dish they taught you. You still see them in your child's eyes. You still feel them when you stand under the same sky they once loved. And so will you be remembered. We all want to be remembered for something, for being kind, for being strong, for making someone feel seen. And you don't have to have done great things to be remembered greatly. Your life, yes, yours, is a masterpiece. Messy, beautiful, imperfect, real. If you've ever held someone's hand in silence, if you've ever made someone laugh when they felt broken, if you've ever told someone you'll be okay when they didn't believe it, then you've done more than enough. One woman, Jeanne, 88, said before she passed, "I used to wonder if I made any difference at all. Then my granddaughter said, 'You made me feel like I mattered.' That was all I needed." You don't have to do anything else. You already matter. You already made a difference, and when you go, you will still live on. In stories, in gestures, in whispered bedtime prayers. So if you're facing the end, don't be afraid. Be ready. Be filled. Be grateful. Because this next part, it might be more beautiful than anything we've known. Final message. To every soul watching this, if you're nearing the twilight of your life, or you're caring for someone who is, please remember, you are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are deeply loved. Death does not diminish your worth. It reveals it. Your story matters. Your presence matters. And the time you have left, whether it's months or years, is still a gift. So make the call, say the words, feel the moment, and know that peace is not something waiting at the finish line. It's something you can create today. And if this message touched your heart, if it reminded you of someone you love, please like this video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe to our channel Faith Wisdom, where every word is meant to support your heart, your journey, and your soul. We are with you, now and always.